Hey everyone, Steve Martinelli here from Equinix, live at KubeCon in Paris, and I'm here with Rob Sirchia from SUSE, and I'm saying that correctly, right?
You are saying it correctly. You got my last name and my company said correctly. I'm impressed.
Two for two, man.
You were 2 for 2. So.
And to start, you gave me this wonderful scarf.
I did. We have some exclusive swag we're handing out to people who went to Cloud Native Rejects and who went to Rancher Day. And I had an extra one, and I was like, you know what? I
made the cut.
I think you made the cut.
Nice.
So
thank you so much for being here, Rob.
Thank you for having me.
Give us a quick overview of what you do at SUSE. What's your role?
Sure.
Stuff you work on.
I am now the director of technical and community marketing. So I have tech marketing and community marketing. So I have two focuses now.
Okay.
So I manage those two teams, and I have an amazing staff of people, both on the technical side and the community side. The community is more of our DevRel focus, and then technical marketing, traditional tech marketing.
Now, the technical marketing side, is that more how to use the various SUSE products together and kind of how they fit into other vendors?
Yeah, these guys are building some of our comprehensive demos, teaching people how to do it, enablement, but they're focused more on our products.
Yes.
Whereas the community's focused on our projects. So yes. They operate similarly, but they're not exactly the same in what they talk about.
Yeah, I know. And previously you had done a lot of DevRel experience at SUSE.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me, actually, how did you get started in DevRel?
How did I get started? I applied for a job at SUSE thinking I was just going to make videos all day, and then that's not what it was, and it just kind of evolved from there, and I had to learn a lot of things along the way. And
when was that?
About almost 3 years ago. Just about. We're like 2 months shy of 3 years.
Nice. And before that, did you have a technical background before doing that?
Yeah, I was actually a software developer for 20 years. So yeah, I actually still write code now, and I enjoy it. That's what I do for fun, and so. And I have a hard time asking someone to do something when I can't do it myself. So
that's a good litmus test.
Yeah. And you know, someone's not BSing you, like, oh, it doesn't work. I can't do it or something like that. And it's I wanted them to know that I'm there. I can help if I need to.
You can be in the trenches.
Yeah. I love bosses like that. Like if a boss did that with me, I was like, thank you. Like some cover fire.
Yeah, you need to, there's a certain amount of like it's what you were saying. You want to be able to make sure that you can do it before you give it to someone and expect them to do like a miracle there.
Yeah, it also sets expectations on time, right? If it takes me a day to do something, I kind of know it's going to take them a day or two, exactly. Right? And if it gets done earlier, good. But like, you don't overload somebody because you know it, right?
Totally. I know you're really big into videos and all that other stuff. Was that a hobby before you started off in DevRel?
No. It was something nobody told me about. I just wanted to make demo videos, and that's what I thought I was getting into. And then with DevRel, you had to go, you're making, look at these cameras here, and I'm like, well, that's a really nice one. I'm like, ooh, I could use one of those at home. And so you can really appreciate the art form, and you worry about lighting, you worry about clipping, you worry about your audio, and so it's different.
It's also not just demo, because there's different kind of videos. Now you got these kind of fun little interview kind of videos, and then you have demo videos, these marketing videos that are less technical maybe, and there's just so many different types of videos, and you don't have to worry about the lighting for the demo videos, because those are mostly just screen shares with a voiceover.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a certain tone and technique for each one, and it's just really interesting. And I think unless you're doing that, it maybe goes unappreciated a little bit. How long were you at SUSE before that?
I've only been at SUSE for
3 years.
For 3 years.
Started off there. Now, was that your first entrance into open source?
I was a user. I was never a contributor. I was just a user. Like as a developer, I was using open source frameworks all the time.
Okay.
First time working for an open source company, and it was a culture shock. And then, here's something that people don't know. There's two different communities, right?
Yeah.
I have a Linux community and I have a cloud native community, and they're not the same.
No.
Then on top of that, contributors are other communities that run in parallel to those other, and they don't. There's some crossover, but not much. So one thing like works a certain way in other communities, it doesn't. Like package maintainers do something completely different than a Helm maintainer.
Yes. Yeah, and I guess so. You have the cloud native projects like K3S or Rancher,
correct?
And then you have the Linux ones for like SLES.
Yeah, and for that it's OpenSUSE Tumbleweed. So OpenSUSE is our contributor to
OpenSUSE, yeah.
and so it's OpenSUSE handles all of the contributors coming in for that, and then those packages eventually wind up into SLES.
Yeah, those are two very different audiences.
Yep.
When, from what I remember working with some folks who were operating system maintainers, long-term support is critical for them. So you want those, certain packages have to go into LTS releases, and, you miss that cutoff, and all of a sudden it's there for how many months or years?
Depending on it, it can go back 3, sometimes more, depending on the customer. Some customers ask for longer. And they work that out with their customer success managers.
Yeah.
But yeah, some people are looking at it going like, hey, we need a longer, something longer.
Yeah, I remember working on those things for certain Ubuntu releases when we were in the OpenStack days. Anyway, different lifetime. Actually, here's another question for you here as I'm looking at my iPad. What's new in Rancher and Longhorn?
Longhorn? I don't remember exactly what's new with the Longhorn. You got to take that off. It's hot.
It's a little hot.
Yeah, I know.
It's a little toasty.
But with Rancher, we have Rancher Prime 3.0 hitting.
Okay.
And it is a comprehensive, I don't want to say overhaul, but a reworking of how Rancher Prime operates. Now we've moved to releasing every 4 months.
Okay.
Long-term support for customers who are Rancher customers. We also have the app collection. Yeah.
Tell me a little bit more about that.
Very Bitnami-esque, but I like to say it's better because we built it. I know. You guys can trash me on Twitter later for that, but it's a collection of applications that developers can use, pull out, throw in their cluster. You know where they're coming from. They have SBOM. There's also level 1 or 3. I don't remember that one. And then with that, your developers have a place where they can pull the correct images, not from the internet, not from Docker up. It's right then and there.
They're validated and safe to install and all that stuff.
Yep.
Awesome. And let's see. One of the other questions I was wanting to ask you, I never asked you this one before, is I think you're located in the Ohio area, right?
I live in rural central Ohio, yes.
Okay. So I've been asking a lot of people as I sit down for these fireside chats, what's the tech scene like in your area?
I live in a farming community, but if I went to Columbus, the closest city, which is about 40 minutes from my house, it's not like this. It's not as well. It's not a tech city, so it's not really like there's a few of us in Columbus, but it's not really. It doesn't have a big presence. We don't have Cover My Meds is gone. A lot of the people who were there are not there anymore. So there was a scene, but it's kind of like dried up. There's a small startup scene, but it's more in like the SaaS offerings that people have. But it's not like an open source. It's not an open source hub. Pittsburgh is close. It's about 3 hours away. That has a bumping tech scene. I do go over there and hang out, see my in-laws, and then I'll take in a meetup or two over there, because anything around Carnegie Mellon, there's some smart people over there.
Yeah.
You want to feel dumb? Walk on campus at Carnegie Mellon, because I feel like an idiot every time. I'm like, I can't do it.
It's always great when you're humbled that way, right?
Yeah. You need it. Every once in a while, you need to be humbled out. That will do it.
Oh yeah, you need a slice of humble pie every now and then.
Exactly.
So, and that kind of leads into my next question here. Is like, what conferences have you spoken at or attended to recently before coming to KubeCon today?
When did I speak last? I am speaking at Open Source Summit coming up.
That's in Seattle this year. I'm speaking there.
What did I do last? All things open. I talked about our base container images back then. One of the cool things is we have our own container images based on SLE. and they're hardened. I don't worry about them. And
Nice.
so I did a nice talk on that.
Nice. Yes, I think one of my colleagues, Ed, also had a talk at All Things Open last year. I didn't get to go, but he gave a fantastic talk about how Equinix supports various open source projects through credits on our platform.
Nice.
But anyway, neither here nor there. Another question I had for you specifically was, you stream a lot on LinkedIn, I've noticed.
I do.
Tell me what that's like. Tell me how you got into the rhythm of it. And any advice for people wanting to do the same, people like me?
All right, so there's a couple things I do. You'll see my YouTube videos. I talk about content creation and DevRel stuff. I will put those out, and I record about a 5 or 6. I'll get like inspired to talk, and then I'll record 5 or 6 of them, and then I stagger them out.
Okay.
When I do the live streaming, I told at the time when Divya was my only employee, I told Divya, I was like, we're gonna do Rancher Live, and it just turn the cameras on, and we're gonna do it. And we just grab people. What are we gonna talk about? And then, we want to talk about the open source community. We want to talk not just the one side of the house, but we also on the Linux side. It's like, hey, what are you guys doing over there? And we have some shows planned coming up talking about our operating system, Liberty, which is a CentOS Rails 7 replacement. So we have Liberty there. So, I know it's controversial.
I was going to say.
It might be controversial, but there's people who need support, and I want to make.
You got to do it.
Yeah. So, with that, we'll be streaming out the topics like that, and it's just consistency. It's like going to the gym, right? If you can't commit to go to the gym, don't buy the membership. But if you can't commit to do it, and there's platforms out there that let you stream, but you recorded it the day prior.
Right.
I released a video yesterday, recorded 2 weeks ago, only because I was here, but I wanted to be consistent with it.
Yeah, I think like Restream is one of those that I'm familiar with.
I'm not a sponsor of StreamYard, but I use StreamYard. But if you want to sponsor me, StreamYard, but you can. It's
StreamYard, please sponsor.
It's a great platform. I love it. Yeah, it does absolutely amazing, and we use it at work. I use it personally. It is. It as an offering, it does what I think more DevRelers need to know about this to up their streaming game.
So, what are some of the benefits? So, I have 2 main questions for you on this.
Okay.
Follow-ups. What are the main benefits to streaming on LinkedIn Live? Why'd you pick that one? And did you have to get any sort of approval internally for this? Or are you just doing it on your own brand?
Actually,
right?
I gave myself approval since I run that channel, so that was easy. I just said I did it.
Self high fives?
Yeah, I was just like, all right, let's do this. Let's do something to get engaged.
Nice.
But it's not just LinkedIn Live. So with StreamYard, we actually are on Twitter, LinkedIn, Twitch, and YouTube, all 4 channels at the same time.
Nice.
So that's why when I tell you, you up your game, because people will catch it, whether they're on one or the other, and,
Well, yeah, some people are on one and not the other one. I mostly just do LinkedIn these days.
Yeah.
Separate conversation about that.
Okay.
About social media platforms. But yeah, it's been, I really appreciate those when you do them, just so you know. And
Thank you.
I watch everyone that I see.
I'll have to get better at posting them on Twitter, or actually on Mastodon now.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's where a lot of people are kind of slowly migrating over to.
Yeah. I think we're it's just another thing I have to manage, another social platform I have to manage.
All right, another question here that I'm asking everyone is, what personally are you most interested in learning here at KubeCon this year?
Ooh. Well, I found out where we're going next year for Europe. It's going to be London.
Oh.
In case you didn't know. But I honestly, I don't know. I've been so busy with all in the booth. I don't get to, here's something when you're in DevRel, there's times where you're here.
Yeah.
And that's all you're here. You're here.
As someone who's here, I fully appreciate that comment because I don't get to be there.
Yeah. Yeah. So people go, oh my God, how was KubeCon? I'm like, I was at the booth the whole time.
Yeah.
I
think it was great.
Here's something to know. I've never seen a talk at KubeCon.
Well, they're all recorded. That's what they say. You can watch them recorded.
I've never seen it because I'm at the booth. I'm working. I'm doing interviews. I'm here participating in interviews. So it's you don't get to. So I mean, it's nice to see everybody. I'm glad the turnout's amazing this year. I thought it was gonna, I thought it was gonna be a bust, but the CNCF pulled it out. You know,
No, it's what, like 12,000 people registered or something?
it's something like that. I mean, I would say between 10 and 12.
It's
Fair.
This is the loudest I've ever been at. Like, I don't know if it's the acoustics or the amount of people, but it is the loudest KubeCon I've ever been to.
Yeah, it is loud in here.
It's a steady stream of just noise.
I feel like I'm yelling at you, but it's not intentional.
Yeah. Everyone's voice is going to be a little sore at the end of the day. One of the other questions I was going to ask was any advice for attendees to the show. But before I kind of do that, because that's the one I kind of end off with, last time we spoke, you were talking about AI and fridges.
AI and fridges.
Did you make any progress on that?
None, Samsung. So I'm calling people out. I'm going to start tagging them on Twitter on this one. Samsung, I need an AI for the fridge that can scan everything in there and give me a list of recipes I can make with it. Right?
Samsung, you heard the man.
That right there, Samsung, you guys would make billions. Promise you. All right? It's it. So no, we haven't made any progress. But that is the, people go, is AI going to replace developers? No. Is AI going to replace? AI can replace what I have to worry about making. Like, there's no argument. Like, you're like, hey, honey, what do we have in the fridge? I don't know. Ask the fridge. Fridge, what are we making tonight? Pasta primavera? We're in.
You don't just do, what do we call them? We call them mishmash nights at our house. When we're not sure what to do with all the food in the fridge, we just kind of like warm everything up. All the leftovers get warmed up, and it's mishmash night.
Okay, that's our Thursday night. Night.
It's usually Thursday.
Yeah,
Friday's pizza for the kids.
Oh, is this what? Wow, like we're on the same. Same with my house. It's like we don't call it mishmash night, but the same in my house. That's such a thing.
This is the way.
Yeah, it's the only way.
So, any parting words for folks listening in or folks who are going through their first KubeCon? There's a lot of first-timers.
If this is your first KubeCon, I hope you brought good shoes because your feet will be hurting really bad. And stay hydrated. Like there's water stations everywhere. After I leave this interview, I'm gonna go slam a couple glasses of water because like dehydration is real, guys. It's real.
Yeah, it's especially important if you're working the booth to do that because take a break, walk away for 5 minutes, someone else will cover for you.
Exactly. All
right. Rob, always a pleasure, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
All right. Thanks, everybody.